What's good with you? Right now, you're on Ugly Money, the podcast.
What up? I am Ugly Money Nietzsche, and welcome to yet another episode of the Ugly Money Podcast. And my guest for the evening, SWAT's ATL's own legendary group member, and a legend in his own right. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Bigg Gipp is on the podcast.
Hey, man.
Man, let's get right into it. I see some things on that table or whatever, and we were just, talking offline before. Tell me about these Gipp goodies.
Oh, Gipp goodies, man. Okay. Gipp goodies, I got a cannabis business and I got a CBD business. Now, what I did was, instead of me dropping the cannabis first, I said, let me do CBD because I can do that all over in all 50 states.
Yeah.
So I created this.
That's dope.
I created this. This is like ocean grown. This is what this is. Oh, this Georgia peach. This the one.
That's the one.
This the one that's jumping out the store. It's two and some grams. Then it got CBD keef on the outside, and nobody in the game got that. So you
that's a dope pre-roll. I know that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Ooh.
Yeah,
yes, sir.
So that's real good for
Yes, sir.
Bedtime. Like, and the greatest thing about this is this gonna heal your body. All the impurities in your body, man. That's the greatest thing about hemp. See, this is the medical part of the marijuana plant.
Wow.
See, the marijuana plant, one side of it is where you get high. The other side is a body is really like a body high.
Talk about it.
You know what I mean? So it's like when you smoke this, you know how when you take Bell or Tylenol, you know how your body feel like it's medicated.
Mm-hmm.
That's what this does.
Well, I see a lot of people going to more natural things. You have the holistic healings and things of that nature, and you got a lot of these CBD things, platforms popping up now. The marijuana business itself, when do you think when are we gonna be legal?
Well, today I know today the bill went up today up in DC for marijuana to become federal.
Wow.
So I think that we possibly might be 6 months to 12 months out. I know in the state of Georgia they're gonna start giving out applications probably in the end of this month. So if you got $5 million, you can get in the game.
5 M's, that'll take you.
Yeah, $5 million. It's gonna be $30 million for a whole operation though.
Well, they're saying it's $1 billion industry anyway.
Yeah, last month alone, just in the state of Oklahoma, they did $65 million in sales.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's a business. It's a big business, but at the same time too, it's one that has so many doors to it that I feel like you don't have to be the cultivator. You don't have to be the person that's trying to have the dispensaries. Remember now in the gold rush, it wasn't just about the people that paying the gold. Shit, the shovels and the picks, man, bunch of money.
Come on, you could be smart around and eat all the way around that thing.
Yeah, man. So it's like it's a lot of areas you can kind of pick. You got edibles. You got pastries. You got so many things that you can go into. They got ice creams now. They got juices. They got drinks. So it's just a lot of things. Like when I went to a conference in Vegas, man, they had ice cream.
Come on.
They got stuff to go in the soil to make the weed better. Even like when, everybody paying all that money for that ranch stuff.
Yeah.
That ain't nothing but food coloring in the water.
Wait a minute, hold on. You mean the food color, man?
Yeah, man.
They color in the weed.
Yeah, that food coloring, man. They put it in the water, man. They just put that extra $2,000 on it. You know what I mean?
That's all. I told somebody that was a good idea. I mean, I had told my boy DJ such and such. I was like, I guess now that the cat is out the bag. I was like, such, we could get some weed and put blue food coloring in it and call it Blue Man Group. And people gonna love it because it's gonna make the mouth blue.
Hey, that's what they doing right now. That's what Runts is.
Man.
So, like with that being said, I mean, the game is just going everywhere because, let me tell you how I got into business. How I got into business was one night I was in LA and Corrupt called me. Corrupt said, hey man, come to the studio. I want you to get on my Moon Rock mixtape. Now at the time, I didn't know what Moon Rock was.
Yeah.
So then he went on the internet. He showed me the first commercial for Moon Rock. You know, the little rock, and then it showed they putting the hash on his dripping down. Well, bam, you know, I did that. You know, Corrupt came out. That first 8 months, I think, that first 6 months, they made $8 million off Corrupt Moon Rock. So that's when I really started paying attention.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
It's definitely worth paying attention to
what
that
was
kind of
going.
You know what I mean?
That's when I really started paying attention. And then at the same time too, you know, Goodie, we soul assassins, so we always been next to Be Real and DJ Muggs, and you know, that was the first reefer I ever smoked. That y'all see, I called it reefer. Y'all crazy.
That's that OG talk. That's that OG talk, baby.
I said first time. Them were the first dudes I smoked the loud with, the exotic, and it used to hurt. You know what I mean? Because you know, like a lot of the weed now, they're starting to bring the potency back. You know what I mean? Because it was so potent that you know, they was cooking with a lot of pesticide.
Okay.
So that's why the weed not as strong as it used to be, because they, you know, the feds involved, man, and you know, out there in California, they trying to really destroy the black market, so the clean market can make some money. You know,
well, you know, anytime the government makes something legal, they just find a way to make their money off of it. That's what it is.
Yeah.
You know, because marijuana being illegal, I feel is like modern day prohibition, where it's just like, oh, well, we haven't found a way to make all the money yet, so y'all can't do it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But what do you think about this? I saw, I think it was Killer Mike, you know what I'm saying, say things about, you know, African American or black people reparations and having the marijuana industry be one of our, you know, like, you know how they have the Native Americans with casinos and they give a certain industry or whatever. I mean, what do you think about black people having their reparations and the marijuana industry being that?
I think
is it possible?
I think this is my thing with anything. It's about business. And the biggest thing, and the reason why they probably don't want a lot of black people in it, because there's a lot of things going out the back door. You know, and one thing about this is that in California right now, a lot of people are being ran out the business because either the taxes are so high, you know, the cost of operations is so high, so and the taxes, you know what I mean, just the overall taxes in California. So I'm saying this. You know, one of my little nieces, she came and she was like, man, I'm trying to get involved with it. I said, well, you know, I would say this. I would say go to school. So what she did, she went and got involved with a marijuana university, learned how to clean the weed, grow the weed, and stuff like that. They moved her to Oklahoma, so now she working for one of the biggest dispensaries in Oklahoma. So I say this. We got to learn the correct way to do things. What we've been doing in the street and all that kind of stuff, that's not business. That's street business. So if we learn how to do it the correct way, you know, I think that it'll be great for the black community. You know what I mean? But you know, we just got to be business with it, man. One thing we got to cut out in our community. We got to cut the homeboy network out when business is involved. You know
business
what I mean?
is business.
You know, and I think a lot of times that we jump in something. And we're not fully ready and we're not fully educated. You know what I mean? Because, I mean, if we going to get out here, because I'm going to tell you, you know, $5 million, that's a lot of money. But at the same time, you know, if you got land, you know, I'm telling kids right now, man, like, the rap game to me is beautiful right now because these kids making so much money.
It really is.
You know what I mean? But at the same time, too, man, like, millions can, I ain't seen me, hey, man, Mike Tyson spent $400 million. Anybody can do it.
Like
you know
that.
what I mean? So that's the thing with me. Like all these kids right now, they doing hella numbers, $5-6 million. But you know, we'll see it 10 years. You know what I mean? Because one thing about it, the difference between us and them is that when we came in the game, we were so happy to be in the game that it was about us staying on our craft. It really wasn't about really buying the jewelry and doing all that. You really had to keep up on your skills back then. It wasn't really even about that. So just to see all the money that these kids spending in jewelry and cars, I'm like, yo, it's millions of dollars, but you know, your career will slow down. So if you don't put enough up, hey man, you're gonna be back in the project soon.
I hate to say it, but yeah,
a lot of them.
I've seen tons of them like that.
You know what I mean? So, you know, and I tell them all the time, say, hey man, like, It's cool. You know, that first 5 years, it's all good.
Yeah.
Money flowing, shows and all that.
Thinking never gonna stop.
Thinking never gonna stop. But you know, like, man, after that 5th year, man, you know, for them kids coming in on their first year, you old head. You know what I mean? So it's like you gotta. That's when you gotta be. It's more about experience than just it being about you being new and all that. Because you never can be new again. Once you come out, you
only get
out.
one chance
you know
of being a new artist. Now, question. Let's go back a little bit. Creating the Goodie Mob. Mm-hmm. How did this? I like to call it a superhero collective. You know, a super group. Mm-hmm. How did this super group out of the SWATs, or you being out of the SWATs, come together?
Okay.
That's a good one.
Gipp was in a group called East Point Chain Gang with Cool Breeze. So, and Cujo and Timo, they was in the P-Funk Goodie Mob. Now the Goodie Mob, how the conception of it was in Dixie Hill, the trap. You know what I mean? They call Cujo Skull Cap. They call Backbone Fat Crack. You know what I mean? So that's why I was Cujo in the P-Funk Goodie Mob, and him with Timo. Well, me and Cujo always were together. Me and Timo was always together. We in the same class, same age. But one day, while we kind of kicking it, I go to meet Cujo over on the west side. And I remember Cujo started battling this kid. And this little kid was battling Cujo. And then this kid he stepped back and he just started singing.
Wow.
That was CeeLo. I ran back.
In the middle of a battle.
In the middle of a battle. I had never seen that before. So I went back to the dungeon and I was like, yo, man, Ray, Reek, Sleep. Like I seen this kid on the west side. They called him Chicken Head. I said, man, we gotta bring him over here. Man, once CeeLo came to the dungeon, it was a trip because all this shit kind of happened at the same time. It was like this 1 month, this right before school out. And I remember Reek called me, he said, man, come up here to Headland and the Low, man. My sister said these 2 kids gonna come by and rap for her. I pulled up there in the trooper, and these 2 kids walked up. They were Dre and Bigg. Dre and Bigg, I remember Bigg pulled out a cassette tape. They gave it to me. It was Das Effects. It was the instrumental.
Okay.
They rapped that whole song.
Wow.
Till it went off. And Reek was like, y'all going to the dungeon. We bring them to the dungeon. The next month, I run into CeeLo. I bring CeeLo to the dungeon. Him and Dre see each other like, what's up? They went to alternative school together. So it was instantly after those 3 came to the dungeon, that's when the family started growing because they were the young cats of our crew.
Exactly.
And you know, Gipp been out since '93. You know, I was on Parental Advisory out, me and Pimp C, Dope Stories. So with that being said, like we just started working on Outkast. You know, and man, I mean, we just was like, we're gonna put our all in them.
Well, it's been so many legendary groups and artists that have come out of that Dungeon family brand. You know, with Outkast, Goodie Mob, of course, even Future.
Yeah.
You know,
baby boy, he was meathead then.
Yeah. Tell me about Future's part in as far as you know, coming into the dungeon as well.
He's always been there. He's always been there because him and Reek first cousins.
Oh wow.
That's what people don't know.
He was born into it.
Yeah. So you know what I mean? His cousin was Big Rico Wade, you know what I mean? So
wow.
You know, and then y'all got
Rico, we need to get you on the podcast too, Rico.
The first part of it was after we did our 3rd album, what was that, World Party? That's when we all started trying to go in different directions, doing solo stuff, doing this, doing that, and that's when Reek put out a group, the new dungeon, and it was called a Connect, and in that group was Meathead.
Wow.
So that was Future, and from there, man, like, shit, man, you know, we was all on the road then, man. So you know, with me, that happened. You know, Low was like, yo, Gippy, I want to go and do my solo thing. He did his solo thing over there in Arista with LA. I kind of was like, nah, I ain't gonna put my album out. I went to E1. I did 100,000 back, and it was right before independent was cool.
Exactly.
It was right there on the cusp.
It transitioned.
Right?
It transitioned.
It transitioned right then. Where I came out a little early, and then Koch dropped Ballin' by Jim Jones. And
Outta
that
here.
shit blew.
Out of here.
That blew, and what really crunk it up was the goddamn DJ remix with Outkast with Bigg Gipp. That, you know what I mean? So that really put E1 out there.
Yeah.
And you know, still Stepping Out still was a top 40 song.
Exactly.
Still did great. Still, I mean, it's a classic to me. You know what I mean? And for me, like, we did that, and then shit, I went to LA. I ran into Ali from St. Lunatic. He was like, yo, let's go up there to the Hill. We went up there to Nelly house. We did 4 songs that night.
Wow.
I signed a deal with them, and I was on the road with them for 6 years. So I moved to St. Louis, did a world tour with Nelly.
That's crazy.
We did what? Sweatsuit did 7 million. Dirty NT, the label that did gold. Me and Lisa did 350, and then we did 9 million on grills.
Ain't nothing wrong with that one.
It was, hey man.
Hey, you know, going back, growing up, did you ever, when this thing was just coming together, did you ever see it being this big? Did you ever, did you, you know, because I always ask the legends. I'm like, man, did you know when you were in it, when you were in the studio, when you were back in the dungeon, did you see it?
I'm going to tell you the event that happened. You got to realize we put Players Ball out. Players Ball didn't blow up to the next spring. We put Players Ball out December. It didn't blow up till April, going into the next year. So when it blew up, I remember all of us this day. I remember Greg Street played it on the radio. The first time we ever heard ourselves on the radio. I quit. CeeLo quit. Everybody just quit their jobs. And we just went to the dungeon. We were like, shit, we made
This
it.
it.
This it. You know what I mean? It wasn't even our record. We were just like, this is it, bro.
Yeah.
We in the dope. You know what I mean? Because at that time, you got to look. Wasn't no hip-hop played on V103, the Greg Street guy here.
Yeah.
You
Shout
know
out
what
to
I
Greg
mean?
Street.
So with that being said, I've always been, I just knew we made it, and I didn't really know until Outkast. I remember we had our first show. I think Outkast had their first show in Dallas, and like everybody know back then, Gipp was always on the road with them.
Yeah, exactly.
When we got to Dallas, I went to sound check, and I was like, damn, we in the Dallas Stadium, huh? And it was just Outkast and Tony. It was sold out. That one I knew. I was like, shit, bro.
Straight out there.
We out here now. You know what I mean? Like we out here. You know what I mean?
Hey, that's a beautiful story, man. You know, let's talk about Outkast, man. Let's talk about 3 Stacks, man.
Yeah.
He's been definitely reclusive, if we could say that at least, over the last several years. Do you have any reason why you think Andre just kind of avoids the public as far as 3 Stacks? Or is that just who he is?
One part of your question answer was that's who he is, but people don't understand Dre been platinum since he been 18 years old. You know what I mean? Like, they the only group in history that ever sold more records every time they drop. First albums went platinum, second album 2.5, other album 3.5, next one 5, the next one 10 million. So with that being said, it's like I think when we did Love Below, that was just such a big year, man. That was just like we won Album of the Year, Group of the Year, like we won 6 Grammys that night. You know what I mean? Like
6 on.
You know what I mean? Like, and that boy, you know, what they don't understand is Hey Y'all was #1 in overseas for like 3-4 months. You know what I mean? Like that was a Lenny Kravitz record. Yeah. You know what I mean? And he produced that. You know what I mean? So with that being said, man, you know, that's a big old chick. Man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, that record was so big that he turned down a $50 million tour. And you know what I mean? So with that being said, that lets you know too that my bro, he don't even move on money.
Nah, I can tell.
He don't move on money, you know what I mean? So I can call him right now and be like, Dre, I got 100,000 for you to rap on this song. He gonna be like, really? and I might send it to him. He might be like, nah, Gil, that ain't me. You know what I mean? It's just he real particular.
Nah, respect.
But I ain't even tripping, man.
Yeah.
Wait till the next Goodie Mob album, man. It's all
Yeah,
good.
man.
It's all good,
Let's
man.
please. Can we please? I mean, I know it ain't out there, and I know Can we please get a little information?
Yeah.
On this Goodie Mob album that we're working with.
It's organized noise produced, man, and
Let's go.
And all I'm gonna say is just everybody back home. Everybody back home.
You mean everybody?
The front line back home, like. Everything you heard on that Players Ball, you gonna hear on this new Goodie Mob. So with that being said, it's like shit. Everybody that's been waiting on us and waiting on them to give you something, we're gonna give you something all together, and it's gonna be like, hey man, if this our last time doing it all together, we're gonna make it our best. You know what I mean? So
you mean
I
to
can't
tell
wait.
me Goodie Mob album, CeeLo back home,
Everybody.
Dre's 3 Stacks
Everybody back home, man. Everybody home, man.
So we can expect some new music.
You can expect some new music in the next month.
Come on, man. Come on, man.
If I
Y'all about to shake some stuff up
yeah,
now.
if I could, I'd let you hear it, but I can't.
I want to hear it, man.
They get on my head.
I don't want to get you no trouble. Look, we need this situation to go smooth.
Yeah,
You know, I already gave me exclusive. Hey, man, new Goodie Mob album out.
Hey,
everybody back home.
everybody
Ugly
know.
Money Podcast exclusive.
Hey, man, we coming back home, man, because, I mean, for us, we want to give Atlanta one more great album.
Yeah, man.
And then we might chill, man. You know what I mean? Like, we ain't did it. You know what I mean? Like I feel like that we could put out another album and do another Outkast Goodie Mob World Tour. And then, man, shit, man, I'm done, man. Like, I done did shows in Budapest.
You done did it all, bro.
In Tokyo, Japan, you know what I mean? In Australia, like, I ain't been all over the world with the music. So it's like, with me personally, I'm just like, shit, man, we ain't did it, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We ain't did it.
And that's a beautiful thing when people are no longer have to be motivated by money. They're just motivated by the love of what they do.
Yeah. I mean, money is cool.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But integrity is everything. That's what these people don't understand. That like when we did our first album in Curtis Mayfield house. So, and Curtis Mayfield had a house on Camilton Road and been there for years.
Oh, wow.
So, just imagine when Reek saying, yo, we not going to do Goodie Mob album at Bosstown where we just did Outkast album. We're going to do our album at Curtis Mayfield house. So, just imagine us being in his house and him still being alive. And we in there, we first starting to mess around in his studio. And he like, yo, Gipp, come here, man. You know what I mean? So I go in Curtis Mayfield house in his room, man, and he had all the original tapes of Superfly in his bedroom.
Wow.
You know what I mean? And he was like, man, he told me, he said, man, don't never sell your publishing until you retire. So again, he go another lesson, young folks.
Talk about it.
Goodie Mob ain't never had a publishing deal. We ain't owned ourselves the whole time. So with that being said, like what we did was we said, we'll wait on the money at the end to take it at the front.
Smart.
You know what I mean?
Smart.
Because we knew who we was. You know
That's a
what I mean?
gem right there, brother. That's a gem right there. If you know what you got, you definitely don't want to sell it cheap.
He told me that. He told me, after he told me that, then he took me to his bedroom and he gave me a sweatsuit out of his closet. And that sweatsuit that I got on Soul Food, that was given to me by Curtis Mayfield.
Shouts out to the OG.
Yeah, man.
Hey, man. This is the Ugly Money Podcast, and we like to salute the process of success.
Hey,
you know,
man.
everything between your first dollar and your first million. You know what I'm saying? I know there was some times coming up.
Spend the same.
Huh?
It's gonna spend the same.
You right about that?
Gonna go.
But you know, I know it was some times, man, where things didn't go all the way. You know, everything won't peachy cream. You know, I know it was some doors that was shutting your face. I know it was some no's sometimes. Can you tell us about that? Sometimes.
First of all, Goodie Mob been on the blacklist, on the blackball list since the first record.
Oh wow.
You know what I mean? Like, we were banned from MTV. We were called racist. We was the only group besides NWA that got banned from MTV at that time. So, you know what I mean? Like, it's been work for us. You know what I mean? It's been work to try and change our people mindset, especially when you come out with a record like Cell Therapy, and then what? 25 years later, we run into a pandemic and we in a world that we ain't never seen before.
Crazy,
you know,
right?
I had a conversation with a dude the other day, and I said, I think we the only group in hip hop that ever prophesied something that happened years later, and we was able to see it.
And y'all told them.
You know what I mean? Like, we got to actually live in the Cell Therapy where we was confined to our house. You know what I mean? Confined to where we can only go certain places. And it's going to get worse, bro. Like, where we going is, one thing I tell people all the time, you know what's going on right now?
Talk about it.
Shoot, white people fighting. Ain't got nothing to do with nobody of color. It's white people fighting for the control of the country. So if you think about this, power is never given away. Power is either taken or it's given. But in this case, I feel like the pandemic, this is a way to control us, and at the same time slow our wealth and slow our progress up. So you gotta understand, in the black community, most of our wealth is sports and entertainment.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, so these folks just told me won't be a live show in the state of California till October 2021. So I'm looking at all these young artists out here that's been out here living these millionaire lifestyle. I hope y'all done put some money away, because if it ain't no show till next year, hey man, what you gonna do?
You gotta figure it out.
You gotta figure it out. So with me personally, I would say this. If they saying this, and they just told me this the other day, they just said this morning. They said in New York City, open restaurants will not open back up again to October 2021. That's
Wow.
New York City. So if it ain't gonna be no shows, and they said also that if it doesn't clear up by October 2021, it won't be no live shows to 2022. So you just gotta understand where we going. You know what I mean? That's why right now, it's imperative for anybody that's coming up in this time right now. You got to find something that's gonna make money for you while you sleep.
Exactly.
Cause they gonna try and close these days down. They gonna try and bag these days down where people might have to be in the house by 5 or 6 o'clock. You know what I mean? Once the winter come, I think it's gonna be a real kind of. I think it's gonna be a hard winter because one thing that we did learn during the pandemic is that, hey man, if them trucks stop, we fuck.
Oh yeah.
So one
you
thing
there's a chain shortage and everything.
Yeah, if them trucks stop, we fuck. So with that being said, I would tell any hustler right now, man, hey man, damn going spending $5,000 on the car. Go get your $5,000 worth of land and have you a little garden set up. So in case, man, they cut them meats off, you got you at least some vegetables. You know what I mean? So that's the new thing, and I'm gonna tell you that's why the new Goodie Mob album had to be made.
The world needed it.
We got to show y'all, we got to give y'all the other side. The most important thing in any man's life right now, you need a generator for your house. The second thing you need for your house is a deep freezer. If you ain't got no deep freezer like Big Mama, you tripping. If you ain't stock holding food, you tripping. So it's like, man, you got to pay attention to what's going on out here. So, and that's the reason why we had to go back in the studio and do this one more time together, because we had to let people know that, hey man, we got to give y'all the second chapter. Now we done lived through the Cell Therapy, and then what's chapter 2?
Let's get it, man.
Maybe we can give it to you through the music.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
I can't wait, brother. Man, the gems that you have dropped today, man. This is gonna be one of those replayable interviews, brother. I wish I could stay here all day and night, man, and just chop it up with you, man. Before we get out of here, man, let them know where to follow you at. Let them know, you know what I'm saying, anything we need to know, and shout out.
Now, first of all, I want to let y'all know this. This right here, Gipp Goodies, this is in CBD Superstore, Fayetteville. I got another place down the CBD zone down in McDonough. I got another place over there in the West End, Total Pharmacy. You can get Gipp Goodies. You also gonna be able to get it online. You'll be able to order this right online and come right to your house. and I'm about to drop 3 more flavors for you. So with that being said, look out for the new Goodie Mob album. I got a movie coming out. Yeah, and
we got a name for that Goodie Mob album?
I ain't even gonna give it to you.
You gotta wait.
But I will tell you this: Goodie Mob going live September 5th. The Young Bloods and MJG and 8 Ball. We doing that parking lot concert, man. We gonna do it one more time for the album drop.
Let's do it, man. Let's do it, man. Man, you can follow me at Ugly Money Nietzsche. That's Ugly Money Niche. And remember, the bigger the dream, the bigger the risk, the bigger the payoff. This has been the Ugly Money Podcast with the legendary Bigg Gipp.
Sorry.